Yeah, I see. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, cool. Um, so welcome everyone. Uh, housekeeping, just gonna put out it. Mic on mute. Get your camera on. How are lads? Just standard now. Um, and yeah, we're gonna try and keep it interactive today. So be ready to provide an opinion. Um, yeah, moving on. So usual market roundup at the end. If anyone wants to chip in, feel free. Um, so on the surface, the EV market's recovered a touch. However, China's now investigating some EV firms into whether they're actually legit or not. So, and that was today. So that should be interesting. China, they've got a global shipping issue. It's just regarding a huge online demand and the lack of distribution to actually supply all the goods. So that is interesting, especially since they're recovering now. Um, India, likewise, got massive shipping issues in terms of shipping containers. So they're at the headlock with a few companies trying to sort a deal out. Um, for the cryptocurrencies, Ethereum and Tether have jumped up in price. Bitcoin's now nearly at 20k. It's absolutely ridiculous. Um, AstraZeneca have published the initial results. Um, they've been a bit all over the place. They were 70, but now they're 90, and they're now trading at a 6 month all-time low. So one to keep an eye out for. I've tried placing a trade, but we're having issues with Xandy still. So I've messaged Jacob, one of the fund managers, and that's getting sorted. So moving on. Peru have issued a century bond. So if we flip back to the fixed income session that me and Gonzalo ran, you'll know what a bond is now. In the century bond, it's just 100 years, and they're worth 1 billion. So that's interesting, especially with their current economy. The shift from tech and COVID stocks to value stocks begin to continue. Still going on. So Netflix is dropping, Amazon started shed a few, all that really. Investors have begun to offload commodities now to invest into equities, which is quite interesting because it shows that they're actually taking on risk. But the weird part is a lot of commodities tend to be placed in long positions during December. So if anyone wants to research that, feel free. In terms of America, Joe Biden's appointed Janet Yellen to join the Fed as Treasury Secretary, and they're planning to have an aggressive strategy to combat COVID in the US. So in terms of their economy, it should be interesting to see how that unfolds and whether stimulus packages get put back in, inflation, monetary policy, etc., etc. Alibaba, it's recovered from 250 to 270. We've offloaded, so it's not our problem now. Tesla's turned autistic. Cheers, Omar. And Sweden's now citing issues regarding the herd immunity. It's not working. Scientists are now backtracking on their initial strategy. So Nordic stocks, let's have a little interest in them from now on. Moving on, Gonzalo. So overview of portfolio performance is a fun for doing really good. At Baba, we were in a 30k loss. So we're at 970k just off that. We're now 50k in profit, or were, but we've got 200k cash left to spend, even after bonds. So let's help spend it. Come on. The biggest winner was XPeng, and the biggest loser still is Cryoport. XPeng was up 20k, I think, and Cryoport at -5. Massive. So that's promising. Trades we've recently executed. Moderna, we've traded this long and short, and we just took another long position. I think we're bought in at 98. It's now at 104, so it's promising. Omar, feel free to correct me on that one. AstraZeneca, previously tried to trade it. Exactly, having issues, still having issues. We're looking for a long position ASAP. So yeah, pitches. This is pretty the bread and butter of tonight's session, which is why I blasted through the start. I've asked a couple of you to pitch. Oh, perfect 109, great. You know who you are. I think it's Jamie and Omar. I've asked. I think I want Jaya to go over some ESG stuff as well, if that's okay. I've also put together some research, pulled together a bit of a long strategy. So tell us what you think. Moving on, console. So mine is around copper. My trade idea is about copper. So quick overview, bit of fundamental analysis here. It's a key part of electric vehicles, which we hold. Many overlook the commodity because it's fairly cheap, around 7k per ton. And EVs need copper to run the batteries and basically run all the infrastructure of it, i.e. chargers, all that stuff. It's a growing industry with the growing future demand, but it hedges well with current laws because normal cars need it too. So while the oil slowly starts to bring itself back up, copper is still getting used. And when that transition to EV fully comes, or hybrids, they're going to need it even more. So who's the target? We've got a two-prong approach between the US and China. We're really talking Tesla and Chinese EVs here. Yeah, so we're looking at Freeport McMoran and Zijin Mining Group. I've picked these for two reasons. One, the US houses Tesla, huge. I think their price is off the chart now. It's autistic. The PE ratio is like 1,000 plus. In China, because it's got a growing industry, I really want to take advantage of as a fund. Moving on. So Freeport first. Who are they? They're an Arizona-based mining firm who specialize in copper, but they also mine for silver, gold, and other smaller metals, mainly for batteries. Global operations with a really diverse geography, with mines in North America, South America, Africa, and Asia. The North American mines are dotted about. The South American mines are in Chile, and in Africa, it's mainly around the DRC. In Asia, I think it's in Malaysia actually. And also have probable and recoverable reserves of 116 billion pounds of copper and 29.6 million ounces of gold. Sorry for the typo. So copper is accounted for 79% of the sales in 2019. Gold made up 11%. Other sales were other minor metals, so negligible amounts. And then 56% of its copper was sold as concentrate in North America. So essentially what that means is the process for selling it is really tight, it's really raw. So the operation margin for profit is quite high, as we'll see in the financials next. So column 1, 2016, you can read the chart. So anyways, we have got a decreasing net debt. Sorry, a decrease in total debt, which is quite good. I just want to quickly focus on current assets, quite stable. 30 mil, 27 mil, 33, 30, and 31. So it's fluctuated slightly, but for the most part, it's remained fairly stable. I want to quickly dip down to the ratios part because that's quite knowledgeable about the firm. So we've got a current ratio of 2.45 in 2016, 2.16, 3.14, 2.47 and 2.61. And we've got a quick ratio of 1.47, 1.27. They're using the cash very well. They're reinvesting into the firm, but it still means they can meet the liabilities. So it means fundamentally they're going to be able to stay afloat, even more so in a COVID environment, regardless of what the US Feds throw at them. And obviously we've got some more advanced ratios for those who can understand them, but I'm not going to dig too much into them, more like EBITDA. I'm happy to chat about them after the session though. Important stuff, income statement. Total revenue in 2016, nearly 11 mil. like in 2017, 13, 2018, 13 mil, dipped slightly, and then column 5, 7 mil for 2020 took an absolute hit, which is why the share price dipped a bit. But it's understandable with COVID, demand had dropped. And this is pretty much reflected throughout the income statement in the gross profit, in the net income, in the EBITDA, in the EBIT. So we're looking at a reduced income here, but it's understandable because of COVID. So it's not really that much of a concern because they've got such a good balance sheet. So we know a safe investment or potential investment. Moving on. Yeah, just cash flow and profitability. Moving on. Fairly good profitability here. Like return on capital. Well, I'll go on return on assets first. So 2016, it had a return on assets of 1.44. 2017, 6.59, with a peak of 7.27 in 2018. But it's dipped since. Maybe because the metal market had a bit of a hit. That was when gold really took a hit as well. So it was in line with other commodities. So that's not really of a concern. And then 2020, it's obviously going to take a hit because of COVID. And then we've got some cash from operations at the top of cash flow here. Fairly constant. It's remained a bit of a hit in the later years, but that's expected. We're starting to see a bit of red in capital expenditure. So that shows that they're really starting to invest in the operations. But they've stayed in the profit. They've stayed positive for the cash flow mostly. And I've ran the comps with the Chinese firm, and you'll see a bad cash flow, which is what makes the US firm a lot safer. So I'll show you that now. So a quick introduction to the Chinese firm, Zijin, Chinese-based mining company, similar to the McMahon, copper, gold, bit of zinc. So fairly standard across that as a mining firm. They've also got an investment arm though, which is interesting. So they deal with commodities and actually trade them daily. They've got some exploration rights as well and some mining rights, which is interesting as well. But on the surface, they're quite similar businesses, as most mining companies are. Moving on. So they've got a fairly healthy balance sheet here. Just use the same key as the last one. So these have got a growing cash and short-term investments year on year. They've also got a growing net property, plant and equipment year on year. And they've got a growing total assets. And it was a reducing net debt, but then it started to increase again. But the current ratio is what I really want to focus on, and the quick ratio. These cannot meet their liabilities. And it seems to really be going through the dishwasher at the minute. So the current ratio in 2016 was 0.71. Not too bad, but they still can't meet their liabilities. And in 2017, they just about met it. They met it dead on, actually. But since then, they went into a bit of a decline, as has the quick ratio. That's a concern. They can't meet their liabilities as a company. So if any external factors were to come along, like COVID did, it would ruin them. However, moving on to the income statement just below, they've got growing revenues year on year, pretty much, apart from the most recent, but it's only a hair below, which is quite an astonishing feat, actually. It's reflecting the gross profit as well. But if you'll see from net income's the highest it's ever been at 514,000. Oh, sorry, 51.4 mil. I think that is off the top of my head. I've made the image a bit small, so sorry. But the cash flow is what I really want to focus on here. So if you could pop that along console. Cash flow, you'll see a lot of red. It's negative. And I'll give you a quick overview of it. This is all stemmed from their unprofitable investment arm, which is really, to be very square with you, fuck them over. And that's what's really pushed down the quick ratio, and it's what really pushed down the current ratio as well, which it's causing them a lot of losses, and it's causing it to be a bit of a risky investment per se. But moving on to the profitability, it almost saves them. So we've got a return on assets, which is growing year on year, and we've got the same reflected in the return on capital and the return on equity. We've got a pretty steady gross profit margin, and we've got a fairly steady net income margin. So on the surface, in the profitability section, it looks healthy, but the cash flow is a concern. So I think the next slide is, right, I'll finish off with this one. So actions with this one, I'm really interested in going long on copper because of the electric vehicle market and the space it has to grow. But the two companies are quite risky, especially the Chinese firm with the negative cash flow on the board. However, they're both fairly cheap stocks right now, so I wouldn't mind taking a risk on them. And I do aim to monitor them, especially. And I would really encourage anyone else to take a look into these firms and maybe provide an opinion, counteract on it as well. And that's pretty much my pitch. So if anyone else wants to chip in on that, just do so now and take yourself off the mic. Cool. I think next slide's for Omar then. Omar, take yourself off mute and go for it.
Can you hear me, Dan?
Yeah.
Hi, guys. So today I'll be pitching Peloton. It's a company that it's basically an exercise and fitness company. I'm not sure if Daniel has connection issues or is it my internet? Is everything all right? Yeah. So it's an exercise and fitness company. So it basically offers exercise equipment, just like bikes, treadmills to use at home, and it offers a service as well that lets people exercise at home, so they don't have to go to a gym. So it IPO'd in 2018, and ever since then it's been growing massively. It reports revenue increases every year of about 100%, so about double every year. It's seen exponential growth because of COVID as well, because as you know, all the gyms that have closed down, so it's seen exponential growth because of COVID. The company is valued, and it has a market cap of about 40 billion now. It made revenues this fiscal year about 2.7 billion. It's expected to make next year about 3.7 billion. Its revenues are expected to increase as well. Its subscriber base has increased in the past year from 80 million to 360 million, so a big increase. So that's most of the financials of the firm. They were trading at a loss for about a year and a half. However, the last quarter they made a profit. So the quarter before that they had, I think, a net loss of about 45 million. This quarter they made about 89 million. So that's a plus. And So that's a very good sign. They've got as well really good gross profit margins at around 47%. So that's quite high. That's even higher than Apple, which is considered one of the best. So that's everything financially related to the company. The firm looks like it has good potential, but it really relies on COVID right now. It's been seeing great growth, but I'm not really sure about what will happen after COVID, because there's a risk involved in that. When gyms go back, I'm not really sure about what will happen. Will people still exercise at home, or will they go back to gyms just as normal? So that's one of the risks that's associated with it. Another one of the risks that they're having now is supply problems. So because of the increase in customers and the increase in demand, they weren't able to supply their exercise equipment in time. So they've just started to build a factory in Taiwan, and it's supposed to be finished at the end of this year. So they'll probably miss out on Christmas demand. So that's causing them a lot of loss of sales. There's also an increase in competition because Amazon was going to try and compete with them with another company, but they scrapped that idea, and now there's talks that Apple might launch a service that's similar to them that could, I think, utilize the Apple Watch as well. So there's doubts about their competition. But everything about the firm seems okay. They've just announced a new partnership with Beyonce as well. That increased the sales a lot because that was something that their customers wanted. So I think once they announced the partnership, the stock rose about 10% as well. That was about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that's basically, I think, everything about Peloton. It's had price targets now from analysts at around $130 to $160 at most. It's trading now at 106. It reached its high at 130, I think, and then it dropped down to 106. So now would be a good time to enter. And yeah, that's it. That's probably everything about the. If anyone has any questions about it, shoot.
Nice. I've got a couple of questions. Do you see bottom left floor?
I can't hear. Can you hear Daniel?
Yeah, let me call and switch hospital.
Yeah, Gonzo, I just sent you an email. Did you receive it? Are you sharing your screen? Is that? Can you just put that so we can see some of the graphs and stuff? Please. Brilliant. I'll just let you know when to scroll down. That's amazing. Thank you. So,
Jamie, wait till Daniel joins back and then start.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not on the call.
Back now. I should be good.
Yeah, I think I can hear him now. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, cool. I definitely had internet issues.
Dan, do you want to ask your question quickly about Peloton, or shall I start?
No, just shoot off with a rifle, please.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So today I'm going to be pitching to you Arrival. Who are they? They're a London-based electric vehicle startup, and they're quite new, and they have a focus on a niche part of the electric vehicle market, which is quite interesting. So they're focusing on delivery vans, more like transit vans, and then buses as well. So they're actually not a public company yet. They're expected to go public around the start of 2021. Quarter one, but like probably closer to the start of the year through a reverse merger, and that's meant to be like with SPAC. So basically a reverse merger with a SPAC, the Special Purpose Acquisition Company, is basically where you have a blank check company that's traded publicly, and then I can't actually remember which way round it is, but I think a rival buys this blank check company and then therefore becomes publicly traded. So that's what that is. I didn't know about it before I started researching this, but so it's not actually traded publicly yet, which could provide a great kind of entry point into the market. Although, as I'll cover in a bit, the SPAC itself has been growing in popularity, growing in share price quite a bit over the last week. So yeah, who are their investors? They're backed by BlackRock and Hyundai and Kia. And in total, that's about $200 million in investment. They've got employees of about 1,300. And then, like I said, they're producing electric commercial vehicles. So one of the good things about the commercial vehicles as a company is that they won't be producing as many as, say, a customer like vehicle company like NIO or Tesla. So they're able to achieve higher margins because they're selling a lower quantity. And however, I've evaluated this they have a focus on price parity. They're aiming to compete quite aggressively with the current prices of diesel and petrol vans and buses that are out there at the moment. They expect their total addressable market to be about 430 billion. And they've already signed orders, which is actually a strong selling point for the company and quite promising, of $1.2 billion. And this includes a 10,000 unit van contract with UPS. And I'll show you a picture of the van that they have designed and are expecting to start producing next year, and then maybe in 2022 for UPS. But yeah, they've also got buses and larger transit vans as well. If you just scroll down, please, Gonzalo. Yeah, so another really interesting thing about this company is their process. So they're unique in a sense that they're attempting production via these smaller micro factories. Micro factories are just smaller production facilities where they're placed closer to demand. And their argument for this is that it reduces cost. Gigafactories cost about 2.2 times as much to produce an X amount of vehicles than a microfactory. It also allows for greater tailoring of the product. So, for instance, they could tailor not just between countries, so left-hand drive, right-hand drive, and then other small demand like aspects, but they could also tailor by region. So you might have a bus or a van that's different and produced in Boston to a van that is produced in California, for instance. They take up less room, and they have a smaller capital expenditure in these microfactories. So that's something quite interesting that I'm not sure that any other electric vehicle that I know of electric vehicle company does at the moment. And yeah, if they're looking to expand globally, these microfactories mean that they can tailor their production to meet the specific demands in that country. So for instance, if they went into like India or Brazil, and then they focus on vertical integration. Like I said, they want to have price parity as a key aspect of their vehicles. So the way that they're doing this is using as much vertical integration and designing and producing all the like batteries and stuff themselves. So yeah, why the EV market is attractive, don't really need to explain this too much because we've spoken a lot about the growth in the electric vehicle market with our current investments. But yeah, just to reiterate some points, NIO, XPeng, Tesla, Li Auto, they've all seen huge amounts of growth in the last few weeks. And the UK banning electric and petrol and diesel cars after 2030 for the sale of them. And yeah, there's some more points there, but I'll just move on. So who would their competition be? There's a few electric commercial vehicle companies already out there, but they're all quite small. So I think that Arrival has a gap in the market to really kind of commandeer the commercial vehicle space, especially in the UK. And as they've already demonstrated with their UPS deal, provides a good selling point to maybe some other delivery companies. And they're looking to expand into America as well. And obviously, the growth of home deliveries is obviously growing because people are at home. You're going to be buying your Christmas presents, I'm assuming, for family and friends or online. So this is probably going to be quite a long-term trend. So it's a great growth aspect for the commercial vehicle market, like delivery vans. And then keep going. So yeah, just their talent. They've got ex-Tesla and ex-General Motors employees in their 1,300 employee pool. The blank check company is chaired by a guy called Cuneo. I don't know how to pronounce that, but anyway, he's a turnaround specialist who previously ran Black & Decker, which is like the pretty well-known kind of like heavy, what do you call it? I don't know, like building goods, like drills. Do you know what I mean?
Building and like that kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that thing. And then Remington, and he also turned around Marvel Comics. So yeah, he's had a pretty successful history. Hopefully he can do the same with Arrival. Like I said before, they've already raised $200 million from investors. Shows like there's faith in the company. There's people putting in some investment, the big private equity companies, and then also some automotive companies as well. So then just scrolling down onto the last few bits. So yeah, it's a blank check company that we're investing in, which shows that it's a risky move because ultimately they might not actually pair with Arrival in the end. It's kind of agreed, but I'm sure there'll be some aspect where they could pull out at the last minute or whatever. So yeah, the company we are investing in has no revenue. Their total operating expenses were 200,000. Yeah, so they're just a blank check company. That's who I'm pitching. But they've have this agreed deal with Arrival to do the reverse merger SPAC. And then why I think we should invest. Huge growth potential, as I've said. It's a niche market capture. They're a UK-based firm, which is quite rare to be seeing. We're just investing in loads of Chinese and American electric vehicle companies, but it might be nicer to invest in something closer to home, even though it's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And it also fits into our CSG fund focus. So I'll just leave the evaluation for now. And I've kind of discussed most of that. So yeah, this is what the stock has done. This was actually, I think, from yesterday, but I've got another one below that's from today. So yeah, it's going a bit bonkers, really. I think it went up, I can't remember how much, but it was like 60%, 88% in a week. So there's high demand and anticipation for this IPO. But I still think it's a good entry point, seeing as it's not publicly traded. And as we get closer to the IPO, hype will increase, and hopefully share price will too as well. If you just scroll down, so that's what it's done today. I got that at whatever time, like 5 p.m. But yeah, it's always going up. It probably will correct, and hopefully when it corrects, the market corrects, we can have a good price point to buy in at. I don't have a numerical figure of what that would be, but yeah, there's growth in this. And then here's a picture of some of the products that they have. So that's their electric bus and one of their vans, and then the next one is the UPS van, which I think looks like a great product. And ultimately, that's what we're investing in, the company and their products. And I think they look pretty snazzy. And I've seen some YouTubers like go in them and explore them, and they're just really well designed in terms of like headroom. The flow of the driver like just goes through this back door and then into like the cargo bit at the back, takes the parcel off the shelf, and it's like a really seamless process. So yeah, I think we should put some money in them. Thank you.
Nah, it's a very good pick, mate. Does anyone have any questions regarding Jamie's pitch? Feel free to take yourself off mute to do so if you do. If not, I'm very happy to shoot a few off, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
You go ahead. Yeah.
Cool. So can you just explain to some of these people in the fund, what is a vertical integration?
Oh yes. So vertical integration, it can go one of two ways. So forwards vertical integration is where a company moves into the business processes closer to the market. So for instance, with your mining company that you talked about, your copper mining company, if they use forward integration, they'd move closer to the market, maybe move into refining the copper and things like that as well. And then backwards vertical integration is where they move closer to like the source, the raw materials. So for instance, this arrival company is backwardsly integrating by producing some of the components for the vehicles themselves, rather than just outsourcing like batteries, the like materials for the doors, rather than steel or whatever it is. They're using these specially produced materials themselves, so they're hopefully saving costs because they're not having to pay the premium on the outsourced material.
No, perfect. Just a quick one regarding it's European, right?
What's European?
This merger.
So the company Arrival is London based. It's a UK company. CIIC, which is the SPAC, is traded in the New York Stock Exchange, but I'm not sure where they're based.
Just my question really lies. NIO have began plans to extend into Europe, and Tesla have got a bit of a European presence too. So they've already got feet in the ground there. If they were to produce commercial vehicles too, very big if, how do you think this would affect them in the future?
Yeah, so it would obviously mean greater competition for Arrival. However, I doubt very much that Tesla and NIO are going to start producing commercial vehicles. They've got their foot in the door with like general customer vehicles, and that is a big enough market that I don't think they'd ever really try to go into commercial vehicles. They might start trying to outsource their technologies and batteries to commercial vehicles, which might help Arrival. But yeah, I don't know if they would. But obviously, if they did enter the commercial space, it would have probably a negative effect on our company. But our company is set to start production next year. So hopefully they will be established before that time comes, if it does ever come.
No, perfect. Yeah, well done. Great pitch.
Cool. Thank you.
Jaya, are you happy to talk about some of the ESG talks, conferences that you've been to or not? Or?
I'm not quite ready just yet to present or anything. I didn't realise I was gonna just yet. So I've got some like companies that I plan on researching into, but I'm not ready to. I haven't quite got around to like sorting out any financials or whatever. Like the presentations are really good though, so at least I'm kind of happy that I watched a few just to see kind of like what people are doing. So yeah, no, not ready just yet, if that's all right, but I think I'm gonna see if I can try and sort something out for next week. So
no problem. Perfect. So I wanted to really ask a few questions for the whole fund, and I really want to get a bit of feedback from everyone, if that's okay. Who's seen the budget for the UK getting announced today? Anyone? No. You have, Omar, or well, I would really want. I actually did, right. So I want to shoot off a bit of a direction for the fund here. With Brexit fast approaching and government spending increasing, I really want to explore some potential links between the increased spend of the UK and how that can be dealt with in Brexit and the potential effects of it, whether we'll get a deal or not. I'm not doing any research into this personally, but I would love to see some exploration from one or two analysts. If anyone would be happy to take it on. Anyone for anyone.
I don't mind. I'm happy to focus on that bit instead of ESG. It's up to you. Like, what would you prefer a focus on? Because I'm like, I haven't got around to doing very much yet, so I'm quite happy to do either bit.
What would you be happiest doing?
Oh, actually, someone's popped in the chat that they're happy to. I'll let them go ahead.
Yeah. Luke, cool. So if you can establish any potential targets that could come out of the Brexit talks that have possibly got an impact by the government spend, feel free to produce a report on that. Because Jamie and Omar have both done a report this week, and I think it was a fairly nice process. What do you think, lads?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I just remembered power tools is what I was trying to say with Black and Decker. My mind was gone blank. But yeah, no, I definitely learned a lot through the presentation. So I'd recommend if anyone else was thinking of having a look at the news, having a look at markets, just seeing, because I didn't know what a reverse merger SPAC was until I started researching this. So definitely means you read more, just opens you up to finance. So yeah, I think it worked well.
Nice. Omar, what did you think of putting a pitch together this week?
Say that again.
What did you think about putting a pitch together for this week?
Yeah, quite fun. I've been following Peloton for a while now. I thought it's quite fun. It's quite interactive that everyone in the fund now, we're trying to get together now. Everyone is trying to pitch an idea. So yeah, it's been all right.
I mean, so Jai, if you want to take ESG, which is clearly an interest, I'm assuming, go with it.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll see if I can find like a company or something like that to pitch on. At the minute, I might see if you can like share. I think it was a presentation or something like that from last time, just as like a basis of what to like look for. So I might, if you pop, I don't know, you can like email or pop in the chat or something. I can't remember if you shared it already, but
I'll pop you a message on LinkedIn.
That'd be great. Yeah, no. And also with Peloton, I went to this talk and I can't remember who it was. I think it was someone like the person like in charge of Peloton, or I don't know. She was like high up or something like that, and she seems to be like a really like, I don't know. You know, when you kind of admire somebody, like she has a very good mindset and like she just like wants to help and stuff. And I think that's quite, I think that it's a really good company when you like genuinely want to help. Like she was talking about like her followers on Instagram, and like she was giving advice and stuff like that. And so I think that, yeah, it's not only is it a good company, obviously to invest in, but also like I think that the people, like their aim is a good one as well. So
That's solid. This question really goes out to the wider fund. We've got 200k to spend, and we've seen a few ideas pitched this eve. So does anyone want to provide an opinion of how we can spend that money? Omar, do you have an idea? No,
we haven't. because CIC's price is a bit mad right now. I was just about to ask James about it. What do you think about its price action now?
Yeah. So I'm not too sure because couldn't conduct any kind of analysis, fundamental analysis on what would be a good price to buy in at. But what I do know is that it's clearly got a lot of backing. The share price has been going up a lot. Whilst it's probably hype, that could produce a correction, which would be a great time to buy in, because I'm talking about this pitch as a long-term hold. Because, yeah, like I said, they're only going public at the start of Q1, and we've got this competition till when, like May?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
Yeah, so this could be, if there's a price correction, it could be a really great time to buy in, hopefully then profit from the IPO in Q1.
How long might it be until you see a price correction, like time-wise? Do you know? Have any idea at all?
Well, can I quickly speak before you, James? Here,
Yeah.
just keep yourself off mute as well. You might as well. So I've got a bit of an admission to make. I shorted this merger, and I made the group 2.6k profit by doing so. I've been doing a bit of technical analysis around it as well. It is super volatile right now. No one really knows what to do. The ratios are all over the place. So it's very much a risk. What position do you think we should take? Like, how big and how much of an allocation would you want to give this group?
Yeah. Well, the position I'd want to take is a long position, like I said, and it is risky, but I still think that there's money to be made with it. Not if we come in now, because it's overvalued, it's hyped up. It's trading at what was it, $25, $26 dollars. So it's a blank check company. There's no inherent value in it at the moment. It's just the speculation over this deal. But I don't. To be honest, I don't know about an exact point of when we should come in at. I just think that if there is a correction, that could provide a good opportunity. Yeah, if we're holding a long position.
No, fair enough. Yeah. Has anyone seen Palantir's price recently?
Yeah, it's gone bonkers.
Yeah, we hold that.
I'll hold it as well, so that's good.
So do I. How much are you off?
Like 50-60%.
I'm nearly up 90%.
How much? 300?
90, nearly 90.
Oh, 90. Oh, sick.
How much do we have of Palantir? Like, how much shares?
How much? 2% roughly. Omar, it's about what, 20k, isn't it? Less.
11k.
Maybe 11k the last time I checked. Console, if you don't mind, could you bring up Exandy?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've gone for holdings, that would be ideal. If you go onto the like our current holdings, like the bigger picture, I think it's like open positions at the top. Yeah, that works. So this is ex-ante right now. I told you about Cryoport. It's at the very bottom. It's losing $5.5 grand. But that was well hedged with the other distro. Yes, we bought Tesla. Omar, explain.
Well,
there isn't really an explanation for why we bought Tesla. I was just if you've seen the news yesterday, or just the news around Tesla, that they're joining the S&P 500 now, and today Musk announced or hinted that there will be a hatchback for Europe, that they'll be providing a hatchback for Europe. So when I talked to Daniel yesterday, we were talking about the allocation, and I told him, just trust me, Tesla will go up. And then he said, we need to do some analysis. And I said, fuck analysis, it's Tesla. You can't really do it. You can't really understand Tesla because it's overvalued as fuck. It just hit 550 billion as a market cap. So he was a bit hesitant. We got in at about 544, and I think it's trading at 575 now. So I think a thank you is due, Daniel.
Yeah, you've got to manage risk as a PM, Omar.
Yeah, but yeah, but we didn't. We just dumped 1% of the portfolio on Tesla, just 10K.
Yeah, because I asked the question.
No.
Yeah, should we increase our position on Tesla? Who thinks that? Anyone? Please.
Mate, Tesla will hit 1,000 by the end of the week.
What's your contribution?
I'm joking. It's a joke, but yeah, Tesla isn't going down anytime soon.
Well, Omar, actually, on the spot, right? Why should I invest more into Tesla at the current level it is at 571?
Right. Do you want technical analysis? Because I'm not going to give you technical analysis about Tesla.
But bit of fundamental.
Well, the EV market's booming now, as you know. They're announcing, as you said, I'm not sure that will have an effect on the Chinese EV firms, but they're being investigated, if you guys didn't know. So that might have an effect. That's why they might have dropped today. I'm not really sure. Dan told me that. I don't really buy it, that's the reason why they dropped a tiny bit today. So there's a reason that they're getting investigated, so Tesla might be a good buy. As I said, Musk has hinted today that they're going to be developing a hatchback and they'll be providing it to Europe. So if that is actually true, then the stock will go up again. And just the fact that they're being included in the S&P 500 this year. So yeah, just a couple of reasons. And it's just the main reason, it's Tesla.
Jamie, what do you think about that? Because it's Tesla.
Yeah, I don't know about because it's Tesla as a reason. Obviously, it's massive. It's too big to fail. But it's just, I'm thinking about the opportunity cost of our money. We've got limited resources. It's whether Tesla's so overvalued at the moment that it's not going to go much higher. It's not going to make us that much money. If we could put that money in another company that's going to grow at a faster rate. But yeah, I do know what you mean. It's Tesla. I know what you mean.
Me and Daniel said the same thing when Tesla was at 400. And he said we shouldn't invest in Tesla at 400 because it's overvalued. I told him, okay, let's not invest in Tesla, but you'll see when it hits 690. And now it's nearing 600.
What do you make of this trade, Tesla?
Me or Jamie?
No, Shusei. I think I'm pronouncing your name right.
So what was that? Sorry.
What do you make of Tesla? Should we trade Tesla?
I don't know. I can understand both sides, and honestly, I don't know. I think if you ask to name some volatile company, that would be Tesla. So, but at the same time, we can expect return, as Omar said. But I don't know. I'm not sure.
Just as a quick one, what part of the market really interests you? So like for me, it's ESG, right?
I was basically searching. I wasn't really doing research yet recently, but just following Peugeot, as I said last week. But yeah, EV or that kind of companies that meet current situation, like vaccine or that kind of stuff, is I'm interested in those companies, but I'm not. I do not have time. Not have time, but I don't know. I do not have time to find new companies to do research. So if I have some companies, your suggestion, I'd love to do that. Do some research on it.
So fair enough. I've got a suggestion for you.
Yeah.
Could you look into this firm called JD? It's a Chinese consumer discretionary firm.
What was that?
JD.
JD.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about JD, Daniel?
Yeah, we spoke about it. I think Jamie did a bit of a rough report on it as well.
But wasn't it massively overvalued? I can't remember what we got.
It's overvalued right now, but it's undervalued in its potential.
Right.
Yeah, well, I can see him.
I mean, I'm aware it's been an hour now. So what I want to do is quickly round off with this. I want to come to a decision. I want to spend 50k right now. I want to spend 50k. Gonçalo, what do you think of that? We've got you. Luke, would you mind jumping off mute and maybe turn your camera on to talk about Twitter?
Yeah, I was just been looking at Twitter the past few days, and if you look at its long-term trends, it's got quite a steady increase. And recently, it sort of fell off a cliff. It's coming back again, and I think there's a nice gap fill opportunity in the mid-long term, probably, where it reaches back to where it should be. I think it's currently a bit undervalued for what it is.
Do you know where the support and resistance levels are?
No, I haven't looked into it that deeply.
Are you able to do a bit of research around that then, instead of?
Yeah, I can give that a look. Yeah.
Do Twitter, and maybe send it over on Tuesday evening.
Cool. Yep.
Cool. That's nice. Gonçalo, have you got any targets in mind for games?
I think 24 would be a good entry. It's consolidating now at 25, 26, but its support has kicked in over the past 2 days at 24. So it might be interesting. Since we're talking about SPACs, have you guys heard about THBC?
I haven't.
James, have you heard of it?
Give us a rundown.
So it's just the same idea with Arrival and CIIC, but they're acquiring a battery firm that makes electric batteries that will probably be sent into electric vehicles, so with fast charging. The company that they're investing in, I think it was called Microvast, and Bloomberg wrote an article about it that it will be announced soon. So it's not announced yet, hence why the price is still low. But once it gets announced, probably the same will happen, just as with CIIC. But there's a small probability that it won't be announced, but Bloomberg announced it, and they've only been wrong one time about mergers. So every time they announce it early, they're 99% right. So that's just a basic overview. I don't know anything about the firm. Microvast is a private company anyway, so they don't have any financials out there. But yeah, that's just a basic overview of it. They're trading at 11 now. They were trading at 10 last Friday. So.
No, fair enough. Console, are you looking at ex-ante right now? Cool. I've noticed a common theme throughout this whole discussion. It's all around EV. And EVs all require copper for the batteries. They all require copper for the charging stations. And they all require copper for the infrastructure. And clearly, copper is a vital part. Does anyone disagree?
No.
Cool. Fair enough.
What's the company then?
I was gonna go with a 50% split on. I was maybe gonna go with the Zhejiang one. Take a very small position with them, because it feeds into the Chinese EV market, and then I was gonna take a slightly bigger position in the US firm, to feed into the wider Tesla market. I mean, let's be real. They need chargers to support the infrastructure, and they need copper to sustain it. It's cheap as hell at $7,000 per ton. Or sorry, 7,000 per kiloton, I think. It's a gamble, like you say, Gonzalo. But if we place a very small position in it, it'll hedge out anyways with the rest of the portfolio, just like it has with the distro of the vaccine.
Are we not able to just trade the commodity itself?
I would rather trade the company because it has the asset backing to support it.
Right.
Personally, I mean, if you got an argument for why the pure commodity.
Well, it's just that all the financials we looked at with Zhejiang were bad.
Crap.
Yeah.
Crap.
So whilst it might have the asset backing, it doesn't. It can't afford to pay its liabilities, like you said.
Mm-hmm. True. Gonzalo, could you place a 20,000 euro position with McGraran, please? Hold on, I'll quickly get that out now. I think it's. I'll quickly get the slides out. I've totally forgot how. Let's try and get it up now. Freeport. That's it.
would we be looking to increase our positions in any of the Chinese electric vehicle companies, seeing as they're quite low, or they've reduced their share price at the moment?
I'll prefer to top up Palantir, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
Okay. What's your projection on that?
Palantir,
To the moon.
they're going to go to the moon next year.
Let's hope so. But they're quite secretive about all their financials, aren't they? And they made a loss. Am I correct in saying that, last year?
The IPO'd this year. So, really recent. They've just signed a 4-year contract with the US military as well. So, we've got some revenue locked in. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Is everyone else happy?
Sure.
Are you sure it's not a high price?
It's the lowest it's been for a while.
Are you sure?
Could you like take a longer view, Gonzalo, please? Even further? Yeah. There's a market to capitalize on, and it feeds into the vertical integration that Jamie mentioned earlier. We've got full coverage of EVs that way. We've got full coverage of vaccines. We'll apply the same technique to EVs.
I do think it would be good if we could, once we get the problem sorted, start trading AstraZeneca, because that's really low at the moment.
Yeah, it's been beaten up.
Yeah, it really has. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Let's take CIIC group as well, please. I'll show Jamie the short that I put in on that one. Should pop up. CIIC.
I think if you want to spend, was it 50k tonight? I think we should top up Palantir, like you said.
Do you want to YOLO Palantir?
Pardon?
Do you want to just YOLO Palantir?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we'll spend 30k on Freeport. Who's objecting to 20k on Palantir? Please raise your voice, or please put something in the comment section. No one? Jaya, what do you think about Palantir? Have you got an opinion on it at all?
Oh, I don't think I know enough about it, to be fair. So I might. Yeah, no, you can give a run through of it quickly. Like, I mean, I know it's quite late already, but just like a 1 minute one. But...
Cool. All right. Recently IPO'd this year. It's a software firm based in where is it? It's in California. They've recently got a 4-year military contract providing cloud-based solutions for the US military. And yeah, if you look at the chart, it's just exploded.
I think it's good to have like one, so either Tesla or Palantir, like this evening. I think we should increase it in either one or the other, because like, I don't know, I feel like I haven't thought it through very far though. But I think that it's good to take a bit of risk because it's a bit more interesting. It's just a bit more exciting to see what happens.
All right, we've got 20k left. Do 10k on Palantir and 10k on Tesla.
Oh yeah, that works as well. I just think that like if we've got cash, it's probably better to put it in something, and then you can always take it. Can you take it back out again?
Yeah.
You know how it works. Sorry. You can always take it back out again if it's not working. So I feel like what I gathered from the last meeting is like you don't want cash. That's all that that's like the main takeaway. So we might as well put it in something, and then if it goes peak tong, then you can take it back out again.
Yeah. One thing that no one's mentioned is Tesla and Palantir are totally unrelated.
Yeah, that's true.
Most hits of it will not affect the other.
Yeah, diversifying your portfolio. From my like limited knowledge, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Omar, I know you're buzzing that we've done both of those trades now.
Why? What's that? With the Tesla?
About 10k Tesla and 10k Palantir now.
Would have preferred it to be 100k, but yeah.
Next meeting we'll put another bit of capital in. But rest assured,
you'll see next week Tesla will be at 690.
Will it?
It will. Or not next week, at least at the end of the year.
Can we keep our eye on CIIC over the next few days? If there's any price that one of you think is good to come in at, put a little bit in there.
I'll monitor that one.
Sure.
Usually what happens, I won't even lie, Omar sends us price updates and then I'm executing them. So yeah, we'll work on that. But no, cheers for tonight, guys. I know it's been a bit lengthy, but I feel as if we've got places. The portfolio's looking good. Well done, Jamie, on your pitch. Well done, Omar, on your pitch. Cheers, Jaya, for what you put in on the little ESG note as well.
Sorry it wasn't more, but like I said, I'll try and see if I can sort something out next week.
Definitely. Thank you, Luke, for willing to take on a bit of research. And thank you, Shusai, for taking a peep into JD. Yeah, you're free to go, guys. But if Jamie, if you want to stay on the call, and if Omar, you want to stay on the call as well, that would be appreciated.
Sure.
Apart from that, free to go. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.